is the most important player on the Cowboys offensive line? Now, this pops to mind because of a couple of different things. Obviously, the Zack Martin potential contract conundrum. I was reading a variety of different opinions on DallasCowboys.com. They all had different answers because originally it just felt like it's Zack Martin, right? Because he's the best. And that's probably why he got a 99 on Madden and why he wants a better deal for this year.
So you think he's the most important?
But then I changed my mind.
Okay.
The more I started to think.
Hold on. That does seem easy, but
yes.
Tell me why you changed your mind.
Yeah. I decided to go with Terrence Steele because the combination of those two on the right side felt like it was super, super top-notch. It felt like your offensive line discernibly got worse when Terrence Steele went out. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sure anytime Zack Martin gets injured, you can probably look at it.
Barely even notice.
Yeah, probably not.
Oh.
I feel like you would notice a lot. So I understand that answer for sure, but one of the people Nick Eatman went with Terrence Steele from DallasCowboys.com, and I think I'm with that and I think he's the most important because he's coming back from injury. Like, I feel confident one way or another they'll get the thing figured out with Zack Martin, right? And he'll still be there, and he'll still be awesome, and hooray, hooray.
Did you hear Bobby talk about that this morning in Below the Belt?
Uh-huh.
He basically said everything he's hearing is both sides are not panicking.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, no, we'll make something happen.
Yeah.
I like your use of Terrence Steele here, and I think him coming back and potentially being the right tackle is why Mike McCarthy is so confident that they can run the damn ball. You know, I think that his confidence in I can do this is because he knows what he has in the combo block on that side. Now, what if we get to a point where we don't need to combo block and it's just those two taking on, now we're opening bigger holes. So that's
I feel like your team will be very good.
I like where you're going with that, and I guess because I think that your right tackle position, especially if you know you can go to the right and not worry about it, that's when opponents hate it the most. I have something you can't stop. Guess what? I'm going to do that thing. You know it. You can't stop it. That's when opponents are like, we're broken. We can't. What else are we supposed to do? So I really do like that answer. But my answer is this.
No, was this a compliment sandwich? Are you telling me, hey, here's all the good things about what you did. Here's why you're wrong.
No.
Okay.
No, this is a conversation. This isn't a competition.
Okay.
Like this show, I think we established a very long time ago. We're not trying to win the conversation as much as we're trying to have a conversation.
Just felt like I got tricked into a compliment.
I understand that, Kevin, and you're a great guy. You're a very good dude.
Oh, no, this is a compliment sandwich.
No, I'm just going to go with whoever is the worst offensive lineman is your most important. Because if your worst offensive lineman can be good enough to be close to your next worst offensive lineman.
You're only as strong as your weakest link.
Valid fact. Yeah. And I'm dead serious about this because in today's NFL, they will find out who your weak link is and say, that's what we're attacking. We're going to attack that all day long. And you saw it happen against the Atlanta Falcons with Dak Prescott. Your weak link was Chaz Green.
Yeah.
And that led to a record 9 sacks or whatever. It was dumb. And so that's where they said, we don't care about anything else. We know we're going to win here. And this is what football really is where's the mismatch? If my slot receiver is better than anything you can put in coverage in the slot, I got a mismatch I can win all day until you adjust by pulling a safety in, and then I'm beating you over the top. Just like with the offensive line. If your offensive line can all be about good, then you're in a much better position. So, Kevin, if you're saying it's Chuma or if you're saying whatever, the left guard spot, whoever is the weakest offensive lineman is the most important to me because I need them to be serviceable.
Because otherwise you say Biotish, right? Like, let's say they went Tyron and Tyler on the left side. Then you say Biotish?
Yeah, I would say I still have my concerns about Steele's, just being coming back from injury. I want to make sure he's good. But, man, Biotish actually grew up last year a little bit. So yes, that would be – he's the lowest on the group. And I feel pretty damn good about it.
I'm not saying it's going to happen because either A, it just won't, or B, the Cowboys are set in their thought process and it wouldn't make a difference. But I would love somehow, some way for Chuma Edoga to be the talk of camp. And everyone's like, it'd be really stupid not to start him at guard.
And then Mike's over on the other side of the room going, God, that must mean that Mozzie's not that good.
Yeah.
If Chuma's this good, obviously.
It's always the thing against practicing against yourself is which one is good and which one is bad, and then which one do you just want to be positive about or which one do you want to be negative
Yes,
about?
I do always think that, but I would love for him to be the talk of camp, and they're like, okay, well, and we still need Tyler to play, so I guess Tyron does go back to our de facto swing tackle. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I would love to see play out. Mike, who is your most important Cowboys offensive line? There's already a few votes for Tyron.
Well, I'm going to go with Tyler
Yeah.
Smith, and I'm assuming he's going to be healthy for 17 games. I know you can't predict anybody's health. I know Tyron Smith is going to miss at least 4 games, and that would be a miracle season for him. I mean, the miracle of all miracles is that Tyron Smith plays in 13 of your 17 games. I'm expecting him to play in 8, so I'm going to go right below 50%. So I don't want to make him so important because 50% of your games, you're going to have to play without Tyron Smith.
Yeah.
But Tyler Smith might be a fluctuating player. Maybe I'm wrong about this because you just mentioned a guy at guard that could steal the show. But Tyler Smith might have to do the swinging back from guard to tackle as Tyron Smith is in and out of your lineup. And it's honestly better when Tyron has a major injury.
Because then you know.
Because then Tyler gets to concentrate for a month or 2 months on one position. And then as Tyron's coming back from rehabbing his bicep or hamstring or back or whatever it'll be this time, is that then it's like, all right, I know that this is my last game, my 6th game in a row to play tackle. I know now my next 2 games, most likely, I will play at guard until Tyron Smith gets hurt again. And then I'll pop back out there, but I have the experience of the last 6 games.
But if it's a week-by-week scenario,
Right, if
you
it's
might be like, I don't know.
And then what do you do with Tyron Smith? And I understand why people say he's the most important because when he never practices. Throughout a season, he can't practice anymore.
Yeah, and
his body cannot practice during a week. So then do you tell Tyler Smith, keep practicing at guard because we think Tyron's going to be ready on Sunday, but we're not sure. So bump out there for 20% of practice just in case.
Yeah, and whenever that happens, Mike's dead on here. Whenever that happens, you want offensive lines, you hear McCarthy say it all the time, to play together. You want them to practice together. You want them to do things together because they need synchronization.
Yeah.
Come off the line at the same time, know what you're supposed to be doing, know that his tendency is that if his right foot's like, those little things. So whenever you're rolling out, Josh Ball or Veletsko or whatever, and in practice, whenever you're hitting each other, that's one of those, former Cowboys that I was talking to the other day was so adamant about. And he was just like, look, man, whenever you're just putting these guys in these different random spots, it doesn't help you in practice. Not at all.
And I guess that's why I still don't entirely understand the Cowboys' philosophy. Like, I know how good optimum Tyron Smith can be, but you see it from the 214. Tyron, if he can stay healthy. From the 817, T. Smith Sr. I like the way they did that. Is Tyler Smith is T. Smith Jr. and Tyron Smith is T. Smith Sr.
I like that.
If he can stay healthy on DallasCowboys.com. Nick Harris, health will be important, which is why Tyron Smith is my answer to this question. That feels like a little bit of madness to me. Is, hey, if Tyron Smith can stay healthy or this or that or whatever, I don't understand why you wouldn't just be like, all right, he's not going to be healthy for the whole season based on factual evidence in front of you. Or I guess I should say, based on the past that we've seen the last several seasons. So why not have him as the most badass swing tackle in the league, especially since you set up his contract that way? Unless, of course, I was not privy to these conversations, they made the deal that way because they were like, you're going to get a shot to start. And if that's the case, that makes sense why he would take that pay-for-play deal as opposed to, hey, you get $4 million and we'll add more for every game you play, but you're going to be a backup.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of different ways that, you guys brought us this question, Kevin, today during Crosstalk at 1:40 with the G-Bag Nation. You might get a completely different answer because we've talked with Broadus for years.
Yeah.
We used to have him on during the No Shirt 9 on Wednesday nights. He'd come in, he'd do his thing. We'd do basically the Power Hour with Brian Broaddus. It was awesome. But what was when he was talking about drafting, when he was talking about building a team, he would say quarterback, the guy who gets to the quarterback, the guy who blocks protects the quarterback. Like that left tackle blocking the blind side in Broaddus' mind, very important. Broaddus also understands the importance of protecting up the middle. So there's what's the most important thing? Is it the guys that are protecting up the middle, or is it the guys that are protecting on the edge? It feels like for mobile quarterbacks, up the middle is important because you don't want somebody coming being right in your face.
Yeah.
But if you can take a step and move and slide a little bit here and there, then it's a little bit easier on the edges. If you're like Romo was great at that. He was like, look, I know if somebody's coming off the edge, I can take that. So, but protect me up the middle.